taking flight. Card Spring Training, sponsored by Woods Basement Systems.
What has the club told you about the opportunity you have this season coming into this camp? A lot of focus on building up these young guys, pitching and position player side. What have they told you about what you could do this year?
Nothing much, honestly. I don't think they're trying to put anything into my head in terms of like an opportunity or a lack of, so to say. So really nothing. I think they're just kind of letting me do my thing, going out there and pitching the way I can hopefully pitch, and whatever they need from me, that's obviously what I'm here to do.
What'd you learn most about the workload last year? Because it was a lot.
Mm-hmm. I think the duration of the professional season is probably the most challenging part, and probably the biggest unexpected challenge, I think, from last year. The workload itself, like the innings count, it was obviously higher than it had been the year prior, but nothing like of substantial significance, because I threw like 125 and I ended up throwing like 145, so 20 innings isn't that big of a deal. But when you look at the duration of basically February through, hopefully October this year, that's a long chunk of 9 months basically, versus college, you're like going for 5, maybe 6 if your team's good. So, 4 extra months of just like taking care of your body, taking care of your mind, and the little things definitely add up more in a pro ball season. Like if you're not doing the little things throughout the course of the season, you're probably not going to be 100% at the end of the season, versus, in a 5-month season, you might be able to get away with certain stuff, and you're a little younger. Like none of us are getting older, whether we're 24 or 34, like we are getting older, so the body just doesn't recover quite as well. So you have to do more to get it into that, physical shape, and over the course of 9 months, the duration.
There's a number of guys in this system who played college ball, came in, and had success right away. Victor Scott, yourself, Cooper. Just what does that college time do to kind of get you ready for the big leagues? It seems like it's having an effect.
Yeah, college baseball, I don't know if it's the actual baseball that prepares you for the success. Again, we're older than your high school kids, so theoretically we should have quicker success because we're not 18 years old, like we're 22, 21, 23 years of age. Like we're older, we're more mature physically, I hope. But I think it's the off the field stuff. Like you really do learn to be your own human being in college for the most part, where you're not living with mom and dad, you're doing your own laundry. For some of us, we're making our own food. We're going, like, you do take care of yourself. You have your routine, you have to lift, you have to go to class, you have to go to practice, you have to do homework. Like, you have to do all of that stuff, and it's all on your own, I think, for the first time. And maybe that does help with the pro ball transition, because here, again, it's all kind of self-motivated. You have to do everything on your own, whether it's the early work, the late work, getting in the lifts, making sure you're doing everything with 100% intent, stuff like that, where I think college is like real life with training wheels, and now this is trying to ride a bike without them, basically. And, I think probably trying to learn to ride a bike with training wheels at first might be a little easier.
A couple more for you. You talked about not setting goals for yourself. Why is that something you do?
So, there's a very famous person in the world who I read their book, and they kind of had the same approach, which was like, just set the expectation as high as possible. And if no one's saying you're crazy, it's probably not high enough. So that's where, basically from that point on, I kind of just deleted the word goal, because everyone's like, oh, like that's a great goal. Like if you get there, awesome. If not, like whatever. Like, no, the expectation's as high as possible. And like I said, if people are telling me that it's crazy, then it's high enough. And if they're not, they're like, oh yeah, that seems realistic, then it's not high enough. And that's just the approach I've taken now for probably 4 or 5 years.
Kind of piggybacking off that, tell me about your self-confidence, specifically when you're on the mound. You won a bunch of awards last year, but I'm thinking that doesn't matter to you at all.
Yeah, the awards are cool, but at the end of the day, for most of us, like most of the time, I think I'll speak for the majority of people out there, they kind of just collect dust. And that's where, the important ones are obviously like, the ring and stuff like that. Like that's the thing that you can wear if you want to. Like it's going to be in some nice case. Like that's the prize at the end of the day. But yeah, the awards don't really mean all that much, because you're only as good as your next pitch. And if I go out there and have a terrible year, no one's going to remember what I did in 2024, unfortunately. So they're cool for about maybe 10 seconds, but then after that, it's like, I know everyone else is getting back to work, I'm getting back to work, and they don't really do much other than collect dust.
Opportunity, last question. Opportunity is a cliche word around spring training every year. How do you see your opportunity, big picture, this season? Do you feel like you have the talent right now to be a big league pitcher?
I think everyone in the clubhouse has the talent to be a big league player, and that's kind of what I've learned throughout the minor leagues. Is there's so much talent out there that talent isn't what divides the big leaguers from the minor leaguers. And I've learned that, I think, week one, it's all the little things that these guys do at either a higher rate or at a better rate, more efficiently, more effectively, that separates the big leaguers from the minor leaguers. So again, I think there's a reason why everyone's playing professional baseball. It's because they have the talent and the raw ability to do so. It's just, are you willing to do the little things that no one else is willing to do?